That's great. So, anyway, let's get started with our introductions. Rejah. So, please go first and please tell the world about what led you to build Beagle Security and your background. And you can talk about, your passion for this field and the great work that you and your team have done. Okay, please go ahead, Rejah.
Sure. Yeah. I'm co-founder of Beagle Security. I've been in the cybersecurity space for the last 10 plus years, and other two international books in cybersecurity, mainly into automation side of the security part. And I also work with Kerala Police and Cyberdome. I'm holding honorary position commander in Kerala Police Cyberdome. And
Wow.
during the work, I've been in doing manual penetration testing for a long time, and used to write a lot of scripts, and that can be used in multiple websites during the testing. And when we started Beagle Security, I thought of why can we standardize these scripts, or how we can use these scripts with the artificial intelligence and machine learning, so that can be run on multiple websites, and to automate the penetration testing procedures, just like a human do the manual penetration testing. So that's a thought behind Beagle Security when we started building it. We started in 2018, and launched in 2020 as our first private beta in 2020, and later we moved to public, and now we have around 1,000 plus customers around the world. And yeah,
Wow.
that's
Nice. Nice, nice. So, before I go ahead and introduce myself, I'm very curious to know about your role as a commander in the Kerala Police cybersecurity team. Wow. Please give us a lot more details on what do you do as a commander there.
it's a Cyberdome. It's a different concept. It's a private public partnership, so that government can leverage the capabilities of private people who work in the field. So I've been in the part of Cyberdome from the its initial phase, and what we do is we help them to solve the problems that law enforcement agencies face in the real world scenarios, solving or helping them to search in dark web. So currently we are working on a project like Grapnel, which is a dark web monitoring platform for specifically for law enforcement agencies. So this kind of project we take forward with Kerala Police Cyberdome Pod.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's really fabulous, Rejah. I'm sure a lot of people who are passionate about security, who are watching this right now, will certainly be inspired um, you know, by your contribution, not just to the private sector but also to the public sector. And the world needs more people like you, and more people, like you, as I said. Um, the more people this side, the less darker web that side, right? So from that perspective, um, so I'll take this opportunity to also introduce myself to people who might know you but may not know me. Hi, my name is Pradeep Soundararajan, and I am the founder of Mulya Testing and Bugasura. Mulya has been a very niche testing services company that focuses on business value, product value, and tech value. We work with most of the funded startups in India and the US and other countries. And during this journey, we used a lot of bug trackers, right? Be it Jira, be it even Google Sheets, Excel, Zoho Bug Tracker, Mantis, Bugzilla, and all of that stuff. And we found that most of these bug trackers were built, uh, are now like legacy old software. They're built more savvy towards, project management kind of thing. and not very savvy to the developers, to the testers, to a lot of people. And in today's modern world for SaaS applications, so that's when we thought that it's important that this particular thing that has been there's been legacy thought process, we need to bring in a very modernized thought process. And that's where we started building Bagasura, and we became the number one product in Product Hunt when we went live, and we were the number two product for the week. And now we have also been shortlisted for the Golden Kitty Awards.
Yeah,
And
I noticed that. Like, I
and
noticed
it,
that
oh,
in
thank you.
Golden City Award. Yeah, right.
Yes, yes, right. So that's another exciting thing that we got nominated for that. And at the same time, the other really exciting thing that happened is Beagle Security. They integrated with Bagasura, which has been a very exciting news for us internally and externally as well. And I'm taking this opportunity to thank you, Rejah, and your team for putting in that putting in that thought process to integrate with Bagasura. There is a lot more things that's actually going to come for both Bagasura and Beagle Security together. And we partner with you in Mulya as well to bring security testing and vulnerability assessment to a lot of our customers, and they've been very appreciative. So these are three good companies working together, and that's what it is. And it's very important to tell the world that whoever I am, it's because of my team. They do the work and they let me do the talking. So that's what I'm doing right now. So that's I'm done with the intro. So Rejah, I want to start with this important thing. There has been a big news about the LastPass and the password storage tools that got hacked. Let's begin from there. What do you think happened there? Why did it happen? And are our passwords safe anywhere in this world?
When it comes to password manager management tools, like we believe in them, right? We are giving them our passwords to save, but most cases they will be saved in an encrypted format. So in last password cases as well, it's supposed to be saved in encrypted format. So mostly the data breach happened over encrypted passwords will be less. But being a company which saves the password, a breach happens in the case of last password. It is not acceptable in many cases. Like so, this happens for the companies like last password and other big companies, big names come into the picture when it comes to the security breaches. So
Right.
these are the cases of big companies which have a good security team with them, and lot of funds are put in place to make sure that the security is handled properly. Still,
Mhm.
the breaches happens. So can you think about the companies, small and medium companies, or SMBs, they don't have a security team, or
Yes.
companies which don't have a budget to handle the security part. So that's the complex part. Like most of the case, they think that nobody gonna attack them, or nobody is in search for the data in their hand. So but that's not the scenario in most cases. Attackers don't consider them as a SMB or a small company. They
Correct.
just try to get a hack or get data, or make money out of that.
Yeah.
So um, being a small company or a big company, the security part is very important. Like based on the latest trends, like based on database report, it's 82% of the database happens with the being the part, like employees are the weak part. So
Yeah.
it's most cases are human errors. So
Mhm.
training them and train helping them to build secure code or secure product is very important. And also training them to handle or keep a secure security hygiene in workplace or there during the work is very important.
Okay, absolutely. You touched upon some good points, and I'd just like to, let's say, highlight that over to the world. For companies to succeed, and Reja, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'll be happy to be corrected. Um, Security needs to come in very early into the life cycle of a company. Okay, correct. Security thought process, um, needs to come in very early into the thought, very early into the culture of the company. So when people are writing, code, security or performance is not an afterthought. But I think, as you said, they should be trained to write secure code. They should be trained to write performing code and not just functionally working code. Now, what are the things that the company should do to build a culture of security as they're building companies? So what's your advice to founders, okay, listening to this, to engineers listening to this, of how do you bring in the culture of security in early stage or mid stage companies who are missing that right now?
Okay, as you mentioned, when we build a product or when we build a company, most cases, even in the current scenario, there is a being recession is in next stage or it will be coming. So most companies, what they are going to do is like they will be cutting the fund for cybersecurity part or security part. So
Mhm.
what this means is like this is least priority for most companies.
Mhm.
But the thing is like when we start building a product, we have to consider the security part or the performance part at the beginning itself. Most cases, when I mostly when I get a consultancy request in case of a breach, like that will be due to the inability to build a proper application
Mhm.
or proper product in its early stages. There
Got
will
it.
be most cases they will be starting with a POC and
Yes.
building on that, and
Yeah.
the security part or performance or the code quality part will be left behind. And
Got it.
finally, when it comes to the production release or release parts, release cases, they will be going with it, and finally end up with someone find a loophole in the product and they will be exploiting it, and they will be asking for ransom to get the data or something like that, and
Yeah.
then they will search for how to fix that. But the cost of fixing or a cost of preventing this at that stage will be very huge, like
Correct.
rewriting the whole code or rewriting this all architecture at a later stage will be very complicated process, and it will take time and money and lots of effort. So
Yes.
when we start a product or when we start something, just consider the cybersecurity part or how to securely develop the code, or how to securely deploy it in the initial stage. That would
Right.
be very helpful in the later stage. So in nowadays most of the companies are trying to integrate DevOps DevOps pipelines with security part like DevSecOps,
Yeah.
like secure coding standards like
Yes.
static code analysis in the code base, and dynamic dash tools that can be integrated just like Beagle, that can be integrated in the pipeline, so that they can get the reports on a release basis or on a monthly basis based on the automation part. So being security as highly costly, like in most cases penetration testing will cost around $4,000 to $40,000 based
Wow.
on the size of the application. So that's why SMBs left it behind, like we can do it later because it's costly.
Yeah.
But in Beagle is what we're trying to do is like reduce the cost with the technology, like with automation or AI and machine learning. We can do that on a regular basis, so
So you're
that can be
making
indicated. Yeah.
so you're making it easier for the early stage, startups to adopt security
Yes.
practices very early on. That's
Yes, yes. In the
yeah,
early stage of software development life cycle, they can integrate these kind of
yeah,
security measures in the stages, so that they
yeah.
can make a secure code or secure product that can be released.
Oh yeah, what's absolutely right. So the background of Mulya, right? We do work with a lot of startups at different stages of their growth, and we have seen them grow from a garage startup to a big unicorn and all of that stuff. And we see that sometimes they get to the point where there is a breach of security and they are reacting to it than being proactive. Even the best of the companies, right? Even the best of the tech companies. Now, we keep hearing a lot of news every month about one or the other breach, right? And yet people are willing to pay the price now for the interest of the audience, right? Like you and I have been exposed to people who pay the price, but for the interest of the audience, can you share some costs that companies have paid, be it ransomware, be it that the data breach happened, and the different kinds of costs that they pay, right? They pay the reputation cost, they pay actual money, they pay the actual what say fees to consultants and hackers and stuff like that. So from your experience, can you tell me how much money do people pay when they don't get security testing as I'm sorry, security as a culture in the company?
Yep. Listeners, you can put your comments or questions in the chat, so that we can take it forward. Or uh,
Absolutely.
so
So
the attacks are. Yeah, you were starting something. Pradeep.
yeah, I was asking you about the cost. And even for me,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm also in the audience, so I'm trying to ask you, please share with us some examples of the cost that people have paid by not bringing security culture into the company.
That will be in different ways, like I don't remember the exact breach, but some may get closed, like the company get closed after breach due to the
Oh my goodness! Yes,
data
yes.
loss.
That's a
And
very expensive, price to pay.
if the company in European region, they will be getting fines in GDPR breaches. So that will be in different levels. So based on the
Absolutely.
size and the how big the breach, the cost of breach will be very different.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely, and that brings me to the next question about. So we are here in 2023. What is changing in the security landscape in 2023? What do you really see changing on the ground level? I'm not talking about articles being published, but what do you think is changing at the ground level for people in terms of security?
Firstly, economic downturn, like with the recession coming, companies are looking for ways to cut the cost, as I mentioned. Unfortunately, the cybersecurity budget is one often undergo a reduction, right?
Mhm.
Uh, but cyber criminals will not sleep during this period, and a very likely to abuse the weak defenses. So
Absolutely.
possibly in 2023, the cybersecurity attacks will be very high
Wow.
due to these reasons. And another one thing is like everyone is considering privacy uh,
Yes.
as a need as of now. Like
Yes.
as India is planning to implement the PDP,
Yes.
Personal Data Protection Law in 2020, early 2023. And also, US has introduced legislation regarding a first data protection framework as
Okay.
such. So this gives like the privacy will be considered very important in this year.
Got it.
And also, as I mentioned, still the human part, like the weakest part is always human, and
Yes.
that will be the most um, breached area in these years itself. Also, other thing is like our um, ISO 27001 new version released in 2023 with more giving more importance to the cloud and infrastructure changes that happened over the period after 2013. Uh,
Right.
so that will give more compliance based importance and protection level and load changes for the compliance version as well. These are
Wow.
the things, and also AI and learning will be uh, taking more automation side in this year, because as I mentioned, as they're trying to cut the cost in cybersecurity side,
Yes.
automation and AI will be taking more problems to solve.
Oh, brilliant, man. I mean, it was very practical what you said. So I really enjoyed, listening to that practical answer. Digressing a little bit from my previous, question, and just a shout out to our audience tuning in as well. If you people have any questions, we have the best of the expert out here, Rejah, who can answer it for you. And I can just keep smiling nice and wide while he's answering so that I don't look odd. And from that sense, so if you do have any questions on security and or bug tracking or anything like that, we'll be happy to take that. And speaking of bug tracking, Reja, so you people integrated Beagle Security integrated with Bugasura. How important is tracking security issues on a tracker instead of over emails and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's very important. Like mostly, like as I mentioned, CI/CD pipelines and DevSecOps integrations. Most cases, in a penetration testing procedures, the report is shared or a PDF, and it will be shared
Yes.
as a document. So
Mhm.
it will reach to the developer at a later stage, or they will not get a proper idea of how to fix these issues or what the issue is. So
Mhm.
integrating a Beagle security or a penetration testing tool with the bug tracking tools, like so that we can get the bugs reported directly to the platform, so that they can fix it or handle it on a more proper ways. So
Right.
like completing the workflow, like detecting or triggering the testing and detecting the issues and reporting it back to the developer it will complete the workflow, end-to-end integration of security workflow. So integrating tools like Bagasura or any bug tracking tool is very important in cybersecurity, VAPT analysis and vulnerability assessment and penetration testing procedures. So
Mhm.
that's why we thought of integrating Bagasura in very early itself, so that we'll be able to work very closely.
Absolutely, and thanks for giving us that use case, because you're right. In my own little experience on security testing, I've mostly sent reports on a PDF or an Excel and stuff like that, right? And not all points gets actioned upon, and I myself didn't track it, properly. So I think the point that you mentioned is quite nice, and I think for the feedback that I take for my team is to be able to, translate the PDF into different set of issues or what's it, something like that. Now, there's a question from the user. There's a question from one of our viewer. I've been in the user mode. So today, antivirus software are effective measures for cybersecurity. So I think the question is about, you know, is antivirus software an effective measure for cybersecurity for personal laptops and stuff like that?
Not exactly. An antivirus software alone can do anything. Like if the user is accessing vulnerable websites and he is not trained properly to use the links and things shared to him, or how to handle the personal digital hygiene or in internet, that's
Right.
very important. Like antivirus are effective up to a level because they can detect only the viruses or attack vectors that are already identified or are similar to that. So even though they are improving this, many cases antivirus companies will be the person who release or the team who release new attacks or new viruses as well. So other than using an antivirus, we have to make sure that we are properly uh, handling our security side from our end. Even like in the case, like as I mentioned in the earlier answer, like if a big company is using this kind of like latest data breaches are also from the side of human errors. So even if they are, it's not said that they are not using an antivirus. They may be using an antivirus or something to protect that. Still, that breach happened. So that's alone using an antivirus will not do anything.
Correct. Right. And Raja, with your kindness, I'd also like to answer to that question. And since we're speaking, I remember this of my own experience. I worked in McAfee for some time, and so McAfee and other antivirus companies are building different software for different means, right? And so I think for the cybersecurity part of it, viruses are just one part of it. There are different products that can actually prevent certain attacks from happening, but known attacks from happening. But also, as Breja kept saying, there is a human factor to it, so you can always leave a door open. And I think in the space of security, Breja, you can correct me if I'm wrong. There is nothing called 100% secure, correct?
Yes, exactly.
There is nothing
Always
called
there is a, yeah,
there is
a
nothing.
zero day attack will be coming in the next day, or some vulnerabilities or some loopholes will be identified in the
Absolutely,
next day.
absolutely. Great, great. So, okay, another colleague asks a question. Rapti, my colleague, is curious about. Can you tell a real-world attack scenario and how Beagle Security can tackle it? I'm sure you have enough number of examples. So please pick one of the 1,000 examples and tell us.
No, we can't tell any real world examples like that Beagle find, because it, it will be our we can name anyone. Like so
Correct.
like Beagle can detect real world attacks, like even it's a injection type of SQL injection, XSS injection kind of attacks,
Mhm.
because Beagle just work like a manual penetration tester do the penetration testing. So it will be spinning up the web application in a browser and identifying its entry points and filling those entry points with use cases and abuse cases. And with these records, it will be identifying from the response from the server, it will be identifying the stacks and how the application responds. Based on that, it decide the test cases on the go. So just like a manual penetration tester, it can identify the attacks, attack vectors, and if we found anything, if we are able to find a .git repository in the application, it's exposed. So it will be going through the code base it got from the attack, and it will be identifying the passwords or any credentials which is hard coded in the code base. It will not stop there. If it's it can identify which credential is it. It will be trying to check whether it's a valid credentials, or we will get more data out of that credentials. So it will be adding the test cases on the go, how we get the vulnerability or how we get the data from the system. And addition to that, Beagle has the capability of real-time vulnerability, out of the band. It's kind like even if it's application testing happens at this time, and we put some payload in the website, and
Mhm.
maybe that will not run at the current time, and it will be running in a different time, maybe when the user or admin access the admin panel, that script will run, and it will be notifying us like this attack vector worked in the system, and it will be get added to the uh, vulnerability database, or to the report. So we support that kind of out of the band vulnerability testing as well.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Very happy to know this. Can people just sign up and try things out?
Yes, yes, yeah. Bigly is open for everyone. They can. We have a free version as well, but it's not included with lot of tests, but a limited test of for the free test. But
Nice.
even the paid plan is around only $49 worth.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. I think for those who are in the audience, they can just they can just sign up and try to use, and similar with Bagasura as well. So coming
It's
back,
8:30.
on the interesting things that you've been sharing, Rajah. Um, so you mentioned about more attacks can be expected in 2023 since people are cutting the budget. Um, Now, yes, so we can certainly expect that as people are cutting the budgets and people are going to become more and more, what's say, vulnerable. How do we take this message of the security culture and the cost and all of that stuff? How do we take this message out to the world in a big way? Are you planning to put out a book or some kind of a booklet or something like that, which can be mass distributed to the world, and people reading it, can actually identify that it's not very expensive to do it very early stage, but it becomes much more expensive. Do you have something like a security investment versus ROI calculator, or something like that?
I think we can plan something like we were doing something similar to that, how effective is the early stage fixing or early involvement of security in the SDLC, but
Yeah.
not prepared a booklet or something, but we can work on it and do that.
Awesome, awesome. I think that'll be a cool one, and the world certainly needs to know about it. So that's the high level of the questions I had for you, and we can certainly take more questions from the audience if they are still watching over us and quite excited about the great pointers that you have brought in. So that can happen. And in the meanwhile, Raja, what questions do you have for me?
Uh, so I always interested to know about Mulia and like building Mulia. That's the interesting thing I would like to hear from you.
Great, great. So I think building Mulya and Bagasura now is a has been a very beautiful journey. I started off as a tester, and I
Yeah, that's
realized.
very interesting thing. Like We both started as I started as security tester at the initial stage, and
Yeah,
um,
yeah, absolutely right. So I think we are a new generation of companies where engineers turned business people, right? There was a stage where I was doing everything, and I was googling, what does a CEO really do, right? So that is so anyway, that said, I think Mulya, um, and Bagasura was born out of seeing problems in the real world that one both testers face, and what companies face with respect to quality as a culture, and the value that testers can truly contribute to bring a difference to the business value, to bring to the business, to bring to product, and bring to technology. So today, most of the testers are either focused towards technology or product or partial value for one of these. What Mulya is doing is Mulya is focusing on full-fledged value for all stakeholders, and this is a big hit with our customer base, and um, that's been the journey of Mulya. And for Bagasura, as I mentioned to you, we've used plenty of bug trackers, and we feel that they are age old and they're slow and they're not modern. They're not fit for the latest world that's happening. There are a lot of new tools that's coming in, but I think a lot of companies have stuck to the idea that they're going to build new revolutionary products using old age products, right? Which is not a great idea. There are new innovations coming in, and we have some cool stuff. Okay, in Bagasura, like we have some automation with respect to what's a GitHub integration. We have some nice cool things like what's a automatically closing a bug based on fixing a bug when you check in the code. So I think that, and we're thinking about new kinds of tools and integration, like for example, what's a Lambda test integrated, okay, with us. Beagle also integrated with us. So I think these are new generation of products. So for us, it's about bringing this fresh value out to this world, and that's the high level that I'd like to share about the Mulya journey and the Bagasura journey. And I think the bottom line for me is about building great teams, hands down. The teams in Mulya and Bagasura are doing fab job. So that's they get all the credit, and I get to be their servant. So that's what I'm incredibly proud about. So that's where we have. So let's take some question. Thanks for asking that. Thanks for your kindness. Let's take some question from the audience. How do you think Chat GPT or AI in general is going to affect cybersecurity? Well, that's an interesting one.
you gonna answer it, or I just
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
okay? So mainly two things that cybersecurity faces, like a sizable attack surface and a huge mass of data that just cannot be handled just by can handled by a human.
Yeah.
So AI can be easily used to overcome these type of barriers, either for good or bad.
Mhm.
Uh, an attacker can use AI and can launch large scale attacks, and it is limited only by his creativity.
Yeah.
Uh, the vast attack surface available now can easily be taken advantages of the AI. So when it comes to ChatGPT, it can be used to create malwares and also can write phishing emails that are concerningly genuine like emails. Uh, so what was a tedious task before for a human, now it can be easily replaced by with an AI with a
Yeah.
friction of time. So
Yeah.
uh, the thing is, like, AI can be definitely used for the good purpose, like uh,
Correct.
also for the bad purpose as well. So
Yes.
using it for good, like to reduce the complexity or handling the large data, and also the um, skill skill gap in cybersecurity can be solved with AI, but we have to use it in the in the positive side, of course.
Yes, yes. Complementing to what you said, I would say that we have seen the good use cases of AI so far with the Chat GPT and other tools that have come in. uh, and I'm sure, like we as a testing company, and in Bagasura, my partner and I were talking about how can we use this AI technology to come up with, to come up with some kind of an analysis or bug reports. If people type some keywords, can the AI finish the bug report and stuff like that, right? Like the way we are thinking, I'm sure hackers are thinking, how can
Yeah.
we use this to screw people's life, further? So I'm sure they're experimenting something. It might already be working. And I think where the world should not get into is that the hackers now can hack by running their AI programs instead of they sitting in front of a computer all the time. And I think there's so to prevent that, there has to be new technologies, there has to be a new kind of products, a new kind of innovation. So those are my thoughts about it. um, so
Yes.
we are so we are as the technology is improving, things are getting more scarier as well. There are things about the ethics of AI and all of that stuff. So with that, we come to the official closure of this interesting conversation, interesting, what's the insights that Reja has been bringing to us. And I'd like to have you give a closing note, and then we will have an official wrap up. And thanks to all our audience who have listened to us so far. And let's hear the beautiful closing note from Reja on what can people look forward in 2023 in terms of security, and um, how does your product look at the end of the year according to you?
Yep. As I mentioned, 2023 will be, we can expect a huge rise in the attacks as funds will be reduced. And like I mentioned, the technology is not going only for the positive side. Like adversaries are also watching the same. Like the collective intelligence they gaining in their side, like the attackers gaining or building in their side is very huge. So the attacks will be also rising in these years, and cutting the cost will not be the solution, and it will be affecting it badly as well. So taking the positive sides, like automating or using security automation tools, and secure coding practices, and also building the product in a secure way will only reduce this impact. So focus on that as well, like use the technology in positive side as well, other than the adversaries using it in the negative side. So yeah.
Okay, great stuff. And my closing thought for this beautiful conversation we are having is that I think it's the responsibility of every engineer, every person in the company to build security as a culture. It doesn't require somebody to be a CTO or a CEO, or, to build this or to keep talking about this culture. So I encourage everyone who's listening to this to become the advocate of security as a culture in the company, and also to not just look at security, what's the assessment, just with the tools. And Reja also has been talking about this, that it's a combination of the tools and the human, and that's what hackers are doing on the other side. And so it's important for all of us to develop the mindset of writing, testing, secure code. And with that, I thank Rejah. I thank our teams over here. Okay, Nandan, let's say Abe and Rapti for helping us get this, put this together. There are maybe other people in the background. So thanks to all of them who made this possible, and the lovely audience who probably woke up very early in the morning or have been in the evening while having some dinner or a drink or something listening to us. I hope it was good fun for you and very, very educational and insightful. And we look forward to connecting with you again. So thank you once again, and you have a beautiful evening. Good morning to you, and enjoy your time. And we're done. I'm
Yeah,
zipping
yeah,
my mouth. Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone. Bye. Thanks, Pradeep, for
Oh, thank you very much. Bye.